Mofaz, there are so many amazing 9-to-5 jobs. There are so many amazing, well-paid jobs out there. Why freelancing?
Interestingly, I've always been a consultant.
You've been able to solve a problem that's going to change lives, right? How would you guide someone who wants to land their first job or their first client?
They need to understand that they need to be coached.
Let me take 1 minute of your time and tell you a bit more about this channel. We are on a mission to educate, inspire, and stimulate the gig economy in developing countries, especially Africa. And we strongly believe that you can contribute to that mission. About 80% of people watching the content on this channel have not subscribed to our channel. And one way you can contribute is by hitting that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and share this content. The more people this content reach, the bigger the channel becomes, and then the bigger the guests we get. We want to bring people that are making policies that are related to the gig economy in Africa, people that are in charge of innovations in our different countries. Now back to our episode. So today on the podcast, we have an amazing freelancer, and we want him to introduce himself. Welcome, Mofaz, to our podcast.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate you having me here. So I'm an experienced product manager. Well, I like to call myself a consultant, right? Consultant in the space of tech, software development, and IT consulting. And I've been a consultant for the past 3-4 years. It's been amazing journey so far. It's been great, and it's one of those things that when you look back at and you see where you started from, and where you think or you aim to be going, you just have to be excited, right? So yeah,
yeah, definitely. So you just jump in right there, telling us about yourself. So let's say if I am your brother or maybe a sister, if I get to meet them and I ask them to tell me who is Mofaz, maybe you can start by telling us your full name and what would your sister say about you? How would she describe you? You know, what would she say?
Okay, well, my name is Mofaz, as you had introduced me earlier. Yeah. So if it were to be my sister or someone really close to me intimately, they would definitely describe me as someone that is resilient, great, interesting individual, and I go for what I want. You need to be. I'm someone that tries as much as possible to do what's right and to get what they want to go get, right? What they're aiming for, right? So that's that's how I feel people close to me see me.
Wow. Okay. That's amazing. So on this podcast, normally we talk about, we have a way of describing that kind of mentality. We say it's a raw determination. So raw determination is just what you explained. You are a go-getter. You do everything you can to get where you want to be. So we are excited to have you on the podcast today. So can you maybe just throw small light on your family background? Where are you coming from? How many brothers do you have? How many sisters and that kind of thing? And your immediate family, just so people get to know you more.
No, sure, absolutely. Yeah, a typical. I'm a Nigerian. I'm Nigerian, so it's basically a nuclear family, so not really a large family. And yeah, the ideal African family were usually a lot and all of that, but
exactly.
Yeah. So I'm in Nigeria, Nigerian. So I'm a proud Nigerian actually. So I really love this country, even though with the whole interesting events that has been happening.
Interesting events. I like that.
Yeah. So we have we see ourselves, a bunch of us in Nigeria, we're really interesting, and we're really hardworking. There's really smart people, and we tend to see ourselves as people that like I said earlier, when we want to do something, we want to get something right, we try and do it right. It's like a mentality that has been built from childhood, right? We're not cowards. We're not scared, and we just try as much as possible to face, be confident enough to face our fears, and to go get what we want to get. So so basically, as a Nigerian, it's quite interesting when people, let's say other African national or individuals see us, and they tend to see us as, I feel, like a big brother, right? Yeah. So as an individual, as a Nigerian, as an individual, you try to live up to that expectation, or just that limelight that you've been seeing us, right? So it's quite interesting the way I don't even know if that is even what we're portraying, but we tend to try to live it, right? Try to embody that. Say, okay, we are actually one of the big brother, if not the big brother of Africa, and represent. So we try to do the right thing. Yeah.
And that's a fact. Like, all of the countries, or most of the countries in Africa, actually see Nigeria as the big brother. Like, you are the guys that are leading it. If Nigeria is in it, and then this thing is going to happen, right? So even if conversations are happening and Nigeria is not involved, everybody is saying, why is Nigeria? And so also there is this negative perspective about Nigerian and so on. But I think we are now crossing that particular negative way of looking at Nigerians, because I've worked with multiple Nigerians. I've got some great Nigerian friends. You guys are amazing, and like what you're saying, I love the fact that you're so passionate about your country and the difference that you can make in Africa. I really love that perspective. So Mofaz, there are so many careers out there. Like, I can tell you, there are so many amazing 9-to-5 jobs. There are so many amazing, well-paid jobs out there. Why freelancing? Why did you choose to become a freelancer?
Interestingly, I've always been a consultant. I've always seen myself as a consultant. Even when I was fresh out of, my bachelor's degree, I just completed my certification and all of that. I just tend to call myself an IT consultant, even when I never even knew what exactly the job description of an IT consultant, right? So I was still, going about trying to figure out what I want to be, what I want to become, how I want to direction I would like to take, in my career and all that. But I just felt I loved the idea that I'm trying to do something for someone at my own time. My own, managed expectation between the two parties, myself and the individual or the client. And also, like to see myself as someone that solves problem, right? So, and you can solve problems in your 9-to-5 and all of those stuff, but you don't really own it. We don't have this autonomy, right? Most of the time. So, but in freelancing, you tend to you tend to have the sense of, control. That is the word. Control, to solve the problems. You can go big, you can go, problem solving is kind of, it excites me. It's exciting, right? So when you are trying to, solve problem A, something else comes and you solve that. It's like a trio. You're trying to, do a lot of things and all of those. So I tend to see myself also as an entrepreneur. So when I provide solutions for maybe using softwares and all of those stuff to, solve certain problems, right? So I'm trying to always fixated in the problem solving aspect. So as a freelancer, the problem you are going to solve, you tend to have lots of control over. Even when you fail, when you don't solve it first time, you try again, and if you don't solve it the second time, you try again. But interesting thing is that once you eventually solve it, the excitement that,
Yeah.
oh, I have actually done this, solved this, no matter, it's interesting. It's a thrill.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. You feel
so
this
yeah,
oozing satisfaction. You get this. You feel
yeah,
so satisfied that you've been able to solve a problem that's going to change lives, right? So
exactly.
and you mentioned something that is really interesting to me, which is you seeing yourself as a consultant. All right. So
Yeah.
that idea is really deep. Wherein, in the world, I mean, the term freelancing is being thrown around everywhere, but you can brand yourself that I am a consultant, right? I'm working remotely, but I'm a consultant. You can consult me to myself, I provide that service. And that also shows the entrepreneurship mindset that you already have, which you mentioned that also you have that entrepreneurship mindset, because for you to build amazing products, you need to understand how entrepreneurship is. And most clients look forward to people like that to work with them. So now, how did you start freelancing? Like, what was it like? Your first clients, getting your first clients as a remote worker, looking at where you're coming from, Nigeria, you're coming from, let's say we are all in Africa, and we know sometimes the perception that some people have about Africans, and how did you build your skills, mold yourself, prepare yourself to get that first job? What was it like? What was your experience?
Yeah. So, like you just said, as Africans, we have these perceptions already that you need to scale you need to scale through, to brand yourself and say, okay, maybe you are better than the way they're seeing you. In terms of maybe giving, jobs or consulting job and other things like that. So the first instance, honestly, it wasn't, difficult, because I see myself as, once it depends on how you brand yourself. Basically, are you a problem solver? What you're solving? How big is the problem that you are? How big is the problem that's available? How big is the problem you're solving? Right, that's available out there. So so if someone is desperate enough to, you know what, I need this problem to be solved. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they might not even care about where this person is coming from, or it doesn't really matter. So it's just solve that problem. This is the expert that's able to solve the problem for me. So why not? Let me go with this expert, right? So that's how I branded myself, right? It was a month or so after I just say, what? Let me put this myself online as a consultant that solves certain problems. Within that period, I was able to start getting calls and, people even asking questions and saying, please, they need to talk to me to see how can I help them, advise them. Some people that were trying to go for interviews and even in the field, in my expertise, how am I going to, please, I should advise them. What should they do? What should they say? What should they, and some other people that even have software problems and all of those stuff. The team that they should, build the software around, and who they should employ, something like that. And and even to the extent that someone was trying to let me know that, what, please, if I'm interested in trying to work with them in the future, they see that I'm more focused in the whole speaking and helping consultation and all of those stuff. If I'm now interested in management of product and all of those, I should please let them know. So so that was when I said, okay, you know what? Maybe let me get into that.
Okay, so now when you are saying this, like the way you're saying it, there is someone who is watching you right now who is thinking, okay, I have been online like for the last 3 or 4 months trying to land my first job, but then I was not able to, right? And you are saying within a month or so, you were able to get your first 2 or 3 clients that are coming to you. What did you do? How was your experience? In terms of actually learning that job, what upfront work did you do, or how would you guide someone who wants to become, who wants to land their first job or their first client?
Okay, absolutely. First thing first, my case, I had experience before I even came online. I had
Okay.
I was already doing what I do already, and even doing more before I came online. So I just decided to come online to be out there, right? So for someone that is trying to land their first client, they need to understand that they need to be coached, right? They need to be coached on how to do that. And coaching or mentored. And it doesn't have to be a long mentorship program and all of that, but you might just have to get someone that is good in not just the freelancing, but good in positioning, branding individuals, right?
Yeah.
So when they help you brand yourself, and you are then able to know how to position yourself when you get yourself out there. Secondly, the individuals would need to also get a coach, might be the same coach as the earlier one, to actually tell them how the freelancing platform works, or the consultancy platform work, as the case may be.
Yeah.
So they use certain algorithms, they use certain keywords, they use certain branding style, how to get look for clients, how to get clients to come to you also, not just stuff. So you need to be able to get somebody that will tell you that. And you need to also be able to get someone that will guide you in even positioning yourself as someone that can solve problems within a certain niche, right? For instance, email marketing. If you are an email marketer, why would I then go and get look for you when I'm looking for someone that to build my landing page, right? So they are closely related in the same niche, but you need to be able to because let's say landing page is trending. Assumption, people want to build their landing page, so and get more customers, more client users, and all of this stuff. But you are then positioning yourself in something that is not trendy, something that is not really in need, something that people is already saturated. Right, so someone will need to guide you as to where you need to position yourself to be. Right, so if you are,
so I just wanted to chip in there because you have mentioned some really key and important concepts. Now I have seen people that are very new. They are new to the platforms that are maybe where freelancing is done, or maybe they want to move their services online like what you did. They don't want to spend time to learn. When you are working 9 to 5 or in-person jobs, wherein maybe you have physical clients and so on, it's a bit different when you come online, because online you have to use digital tools, you have to understand the platforms, the way they work. And the other important thing that you actually mentioned is having mentorship, right? Like mentorship is very, very important. And this is why this podcast exists, the African Notes podcast, because we want to make sure we can speak to people like you who have done it, and you can guide younger folks and also people that are thinking of moving their services online. That's one. Number two is also the ability to provide tutorials, right? There is another channel that we have. It's called African Notes Plus. So this is a channel wherein we provide tutorials on how to use specific platforms, as you can see on the screen. So these are things that you need to be patient to learn and build yourself, right? Like model yourself as an expert. This is something also Mofaz has mentioned. You have to model yourself. You have to package yourself as an expert. So you speak like an expert, you do things like an expert, so that when a client comes, they come to you as an expert who can help them to solve the problems that they have, and then they can grow their business. So I just wanted to emphasize those points, and thank you very much for those points, and Mofaz. So now we can go into what platforms did you start when you went online for the first time? Which platforms? How did you find the platforms that you started working on, and which platforms did you end up, or would you recommend to somebody who is coming as a new person to work online?
Yeah, so the platforms I would recommend as a starter, it's Upwork.
Okay.
Upwork is really a freelance platform for people that actually are serious to hire professionals, experts to solve their problems, right? And I believe you then be paid, for well. So other ones I wouldn't recommend. I'm not sure if I'm able to say it, but Upwork is the one I recommend. And there are other ones like Catalant, right? Catalant is more like when you've gotten a certain level of Upwork, and you are then able to work with, I think, Fortune 500 companies or some large companies out there. So problem high level jobs, right? 50K, 60K, thereabout. You can get maybe when you are really, really confident to take on really large projects, then you can go on Catalant. But for now, as a starter, you can always start with Upwork.
Okay, so Upwork is like the place you can start, and then you can, once you build a reputation on Upwork, then you can move on to the Catalan platform that you're talking about, right? So how does your reputation on Upwork helps you in this other platform that you were mentioning, Catalan?
Well, your reputation doesn't exactly help you until you put it to use in other platforms, right? There are different platforms,
okay,
right? Until you put it to good use. For instance, if you are on Catalant and you build a reputation properly on Upwork, you can just take a picture or take a screenshot of all your reviews, your scores, your completion rates and all of those stuff, and your trust level on Upwork. Just package it as part of your portfolio when you're applying into Catalant, right? But if you don't do that, no one would know, right? But again, this is a simple way to do it. And again, the second thing is which is the most important. Since you built your reputation, you'll be really confident enough to even go on the larger platform like Catalant for larger jobs and all that. So, if you don't, you might not really be confident enough because you don't really know how the online space works. Using Upwork, and you might not really know how to even pitch yourself and position yourself again in Catalan. Like I say, there are different platforms, so they have different ways to they handle things and do things. But at the same time, the underlying foundation is you having that strength, that confidence, right? That okay, I have done it on Upwork. I'm really confident in myself to now really go to other platforms like Catalan and to really do something great. Because at the end of the day, if you mess up in Catalan, they might not be as forgiving as Upwork because those clients are,
yeah. Okay. So I'm just looking at your profile on Upwork, and you have an amazing profile, I must say. Like 100 job success score. You've made serious strides. You've made over 60K on there. You've built a reputation. That's what I'll say. Like you've built a very solid reputation. So what do you think about feedback on Upwork? What's your general thoughts? If somebody, because building a reputation is, as you were mentioning, taking snapshots of those feedbacks and taking them to other platforms can help you to showcase what you already have, what you've achieved, on online or remote work, right? What is your general thoughts about, first of all, the platform itself, Upwork as a platform as a whole? What's your general thoughts? And secondly, what do you think about building your reputation on Upwork? What strategies should someone use?
You have to be able to deliver, be professional, right? Okay. You need to, once you are getting into Upwork and once you get a client, for instance, you need to be professional. You need to do what you say you are going to do. You don't default. You try as much as possible to. Yeah. Because I believe when they're giving you a review, you don't need to plead, and they will genuinely give you a good review because you have no reason not to. You've done what they asked you to do, and you've completed it, and they're satisfied. So there's no reason for them to not give you a good review. So you need to gradually even start from clients you feel, even select the client that you choose to work with, right? You don't need to go for everybody out there. Because every client would not be a good fit for you. So you need to be able to sieve and say, you know what, this person, you're not a good fit for me, even after an interview or after a first pitch or something. You need to be able to sieve that client and say, okay, maybe not, and all of this stuff. And it's fine, you get other ones. And maybe it might not even be the client being rude or nothing. It might just be, time zone differences, that might even be a friction later at a future date if the client requested you to work in a certain time zone and you're not comfortable with. But if you are desperate and you try to, work within that time zone, you might not be able to keep up, right? Yeah. Because that's not your time zone you're comfortable with, and the client might feel you're not meeting up. because of something as simple as just a time zone difference, right? So, so making those adjustments might be difficult. So at the first time, I say, okay, you know what, I'm not comfortable to work on this time zone. Okay, maybe that's for now. In the future, I might be. So you need to build a reputation gradually to get to a level where everybody's comfortable working with you, and you don't even have to go out there to really look for the job, the clients, right? They come to you. They try to seek you to solve their problems.
Yeah. So you mentioned something that I just wanted to emphasize, which is choose your clients wisely, right? Especially when you are coming into the platform new, you want to build your reputation. And you can check. One of the things that normally most people do is they check the reviews that the clients themselves receive. So you are not the only one receiving reviews as a freelancer, but clients also receive reviews. So look at their reviews. If they have very bad reviews from freelancers, you should already know that this is a problem. Clients, if I go there, there's something goes wrong, then they will provide me a very bad review, right? So you should select your clients wisely, because you want building one bad review can just put everything off. Your entire account goes off the roof. Like nobody wants to work with you any longer. So you have to really, and Mofaz really has like some amazing reviews that I'm getting from clients. This is really good. All right. So I'm just telling you, I'm just spilling the beans out there for the viewers so that they know that you've gotten like some really amazing reviews, right? So now we're going to jump into deep thoughts about actually like your role. What kind of specialty are you in right now as a freelancer? What are you doing?
As a freelancer, I do website development, website design.
Okay.
I do product management and product consultants, and also cloud architecting and all of that. So
wow.
Yeah,
that's a lot. That's a lot. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
It's interesting. It's interesting. That's what I just want to say. It's really things that excite me is what I do, and those are the 3 major stuff I do right now.
All right. So, how did you? Let's focus on product management a little bit. All right. What drew you to that field? Like, how did you get there to go into product? Because product management is a field that is very broad, and sometimes it's very challenging also to get into that area. So, what drew you? Like, how did you get there?
The interesting thing about product management, it might be difficult for some people to get in. It might not be difficult for some people, exactly because of the background, that one needs to have to get into product management. Yeah. You can get into product management from any background. Honestly, okay. You just have to carve your niche properly. Okay, my background is in management, for instance, event management, right? Mm-hmm. So similar concepts, right? But you might just learn the artifacts you might get to know the artifacts involved in product management, and 1 or 2, 3 months, as the case may be.
And what are those artifacts? Because somebody might ask, what is product management? I don't know what it is.
Oh, yeah. So, I see product management as there are 5. I separate them into 5 categories, right? The first is business product management. The second is marketing product management. The third is the technical product management. The fourth is the growth product management. Then the fifth should be I can't remember right now, but it's but where people fit into the internal part of it in software development is the technical product management, right? Where you have to manage a product from the initiation stage to the closing stage. Then your job is done there. But that of the business product management, you tend to dive into the business part of it. After you've closed the project, you then go into the impact that product will make in the market. So so there are different parts. So for the parts where I've actually done a couple of those parts, right? Not all of them. I think 4 out of the 5 parts. But it's quite interesting that to get into product management, you just need to have not a certain background, but from any background, you could just get into there, knock yourself out, then figure it out what you enjoy, and eventually, you find your feet.
Yeah, definitely. I like the part where you said, you go out there, knock yourself out, try it and see what comes out. And that just, as you were explaining, I was just thinking about how does volunteering can help somebody to get into a career like product management. Most people go to these online platforms and they just want to get jobs, like paid jobs. Sometimes even volunteering for a month or two, or maybe a week or two, just to showcase your ability, can also bring you closer to your first job. I just wanted to put that out there because you mentioned about you going out there and knock yourself out. You have to try. You have to volunteer. You have to reach out to somebody. Okay, you've invited me for this job. I can work for you for a month. Just see my output. If that's okay, please, then we can talk about hiring. That's just a tip for people that are struggling to get a job out there, right? So now the field of product management is quite unstable. What I mean by that is it's evolving. Like as technology changes, especially for software product management and even marketing, digital marketing, product management, and growth product. In fact, that's one of the most challenging form of product management, because growth product management is where maybe a product has already been built, and then you are tasked to create like features that can help customers to be more interested in the product and so on and so forth. Sometimes you are kind of charged with the responsibility of bringing up these ideas, which is really tough. And when you bring up these ideas, how are those ideas doing on the market? Are customers really loving it, and so on and so forth? So basically what I'm trying to say is the product management field itself is evolving rapidly. How do you keep yourself updated and trendy?
It's quite interesting that it could be. People think that you need to really maybe be online all the time to know what's going on, and keep track of what's going on in the world, in technology, all of those stuff, right? But one of the major reasons why I got into cloud, like I mentioned earlier, it's because I see. I had gone through a couple of articles. I had gone through a couple of publications from reputable companies like CIO magazines, and all of and at the level of CIO magazines, right? Or I can't remember the other, but anyway, the thing is that you need to be able to look at all those high-level magazines, publications, to be able to know what CIOs are thinking, what people top there in the organizations are thinking, what the problems they're putting out there that they're trying to solve, and how they are solving it right now, all of those stuff. So you need to be able to go through those publications, not just social media, those publications, see all of those things, and be really interested in finding out how you fit into what they're talking about and how you can come in. Right, so that is how you can position yourself into becoming a product manager or a cloud architect, cloud engineer, web developer, as the case may be. Right, so I see three fields right now really having really going to be there for a long time. Right, the first is data, right. The second is AI. Machine learning, AI, and the third is cloud, right? And the third is cloud. So if you then realize that in product management, most jobs that were coming, even between now and when ChatGPT was
being developed,
right, and launched, right? You see that most people coming were into AI. They want to do something that is AI implying. They want to do something that will solve problems using AI. All of those stuff. And interestingly, when you tell them that, okay, you have a background in AI, or you have a background in solving, or you've solved a problem with AI before, they jump on it, right? Because the clients or people want to feel that you understand them, you've done it, and they can trust you because, you're already in it. You know what's going on, right? So you don't be stuck in some other software that, some things that, just because you do not know, you're ignorant, something that you think, it's what it is, but it's not, right?
Yeah, definitely. Like these fields are popping up. You now hear about prompt engineering and all of those things. And for young folks out there, if we are all young, of course, myself and Mofaz are not old people, but we have some level of experience online, working as a consultant here and there. But if you are thinking of coming to the online space, you have to think about the trendy technologies, and you have to update your own skills. So you just focus on one job and forgetting that things are changing. Otherwise, you will wake up one day and see that all of the skills that you have are obsolete. Nobody cares about what you know or how you have gotten, how many degrees you have, or that kind of stuff. Right? People are looking for new things. Right now, they look for AI, how to generate AI videos, how to edit good videos, how to do prompt engineering. People are looking for all of these things. And these technologies are being thrown at us, and they are creating a lot of pressure. So some fields requires you constant studies, like what Mofaz says. Looking at people within companies that are making decisions, like CIOs, these are people that are making technology decisions. So within this company, so understanding the way they think can help you position yourself in a way that makes you useful now and also in the future. So now you talked a little bit about trust, right? And trust is a big component, guys. You have to know when you are in the online space. Trust, you have to find a way of building trust so that people can trust you. How do you do it, Mofaz? What's your strategies of building trust with a new client?
It's as simple as honesty. Just be honest. If you're going to be late, be honest. Why are you late? Just be honest. It's it builds up. It might seem small, but it builds up in the client's mind, right? If a project is not going to be delivered at a certain time, be honest. It's not this the reason. Just be honest. You don't need to lie. You don't need to try to be cunning. Also, you just be honest. So you just realize that it compounds, and eventually, when they're able to trust you, subconsciously they tend to even connect with you, right? Because right now it's just they're able to then say, why is this guy? If something goes wrong in the future between you and the client, okay, they tend to believe you because that is the truth, right? That this is the reason. So in the future, after that, maybe you have an experience that is bad with them, also they'll understand because you said the truth, right? So as much as possible, be honest. It's just there is no strategy. There is no. I don't think that. Just be like.
Just be honest and transparent.
Be transparent. Just be honest. Be clear.
Yeah.
It's life. Things happen. And if some things happen, they understand they are humans. Also, we're all humans, and things doesn't always go the way we want it or we plan all the time. So they definitely will understand as they're humans, right? So,
okay. Have you ever dealt with a complicated or difficult client? If yes, what was your strategies that you used to salvage the situation?
Well, not quite actually. I believe they were coming from the angle of they need a problem solved, and because it's not solved before a certain period of time, let's say before Christmas, a festive period, I think. It wasn't solved before Christmas, and they needed it for Christmas and all. So there wasn't really any strategy that was in place. And I wouldn't really call it a difficult client. I think I understood where they are coming from because, they need this to be out by Christmas, right? Unfortunately, it was out, I think it was even on the day, a day before Christmas, it was out. And they were really, so still, luckily they had all their marketing already on ground and, they were able to still push through and, do what they want to do, right? And they eventually came back and said, oh, awesome, that, thank you and all of this stuff. But the bottom line is that they need to, navigating the difficult clients, you would need to be able to connect with them where they're coming from. Understand, like, okay, put yourself in their shoes. Try to get where they're coming from and talk to them, and as again, be honest and clear as possible. And so hopefully they understand. If they don't understand, there might be a way in which you might talk to a colleague of theirs, or or you might even warm them up by sending an email. Okay, this is what I'm not able to meet up, or I'm not able to do certain things, and it's just being have the sense of empathy, right, and communication. Okay. So everyone, we're all human beings at the end of the day.
Yeah. Have you ever walked away from a client? If yes, why and what happened? Why would you walk away from money?
I exactly haven't, because again, I choose who I work with. So okay. Like you mentioned earlier, you need to see their reviews from other people. So I need to ask, right? I need to, and some people that even worked with certain clients before, I'll go ask them, what do you think about this client? And what do you think? How were things handled between you and the client, during the course of the project or assignment, right? So I have never had one, but I am not even looking. I am not looking at it. I'm looking at it from the angle of when you see your client well, when you try to choose your client who you work with, you realize that there is no need for you to actually be desperate enough to look for, desperate enough to get a job that you would not do well in, right? So the most important thing, the first step, try as much as possible to choose who you work with.
Yeah. Yeah, that's totally, I totally agree with that point. The other thing is, I know as product managers, sometimes you tend to think, especially if you are working online, I mean, you are not working within your own country, or maybe your contribution is not directly in your own country. Do you feel any form of accomplishment by working with various clients all over the globe? If yes, how are you contributing to society?
Not contributing, maybe tax. There's a contribution, yeah. Tax, yeah. But it's more like when you are able to see yourself working in with companies all over the globe. I don't exactly see it as I am just doing I'm just doing it for me and all. I look at it as experiences. I look at it like, not just work, but more like impact, right? Where at the end of the day, if someone sees me out there and tries to tell me about the way certain people act in the world, or the way certain projects are being worked on, some things like that, just based on the experience, I'm able to then advise the individual or advise the person, the party involved, that, okay, this is how you should go, this is what you should do. If you're working with companies in Netherlands, this is how you should act. If you're working with a company in the US, this is how you should behave, those kind of stuff based on perception. So it widens your horizon, right? It widens your thought process, how you handle stuff and all of those. So it's really, really important that you see yourself as someone that will eventually make impact, and will make impact in by even giving and helping people out there that haven't yet gotten jobs, that will eventually come to you based on your experience and expertise, to seek for help and advise them, to also scale them and help them, get to their goal.
Okay. Yeah. Basically, because sometimes you feel like, how do I actually contribute to society? But I can tell you, I know you've built amazing apps. You've built amazing websites, which I really want you to mention some, and so that our audience can learn and probably know some of the amazing projects that you've worked on that makes you feel so accomplished. It's not just about what you are making as in terms of cash, but also your contribution towards the overall development of our globe.
No, yeah. There are a couple actually. So some of them, I think I might not be able to mention them for confidentiality, but I believe when you check this description, I might see them through. So you guys can look at it in there. But again, mostly and development, managing teams, and even recently cloud architecting, right? Architecting designs that will solve problems for certain clients and all of those stuff. So absolutely, I'm going to list them out so you can just put them in your description.
Yes, that would be nice. Are you able to name like the projects, so that just name them quickly and we can show them on the screen, like some kind of something that people can just see.
I wish. I need to check my classes because some of those clients.
All right. Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
So normally, it's a confidentiality issue. Some clients who want their project to be named. That's totally understandable. And if you have any ones that we can just share with the viewers, definitely will do that. So on another thing that I wanted to look at specifically is what's your plan like in the next 5 years? What are you thinking about?
Interesting question. I haven't actually thought about it. Telling people about thought about it. I'm big here in 5 years, and also be able to portray and tell people about it. Right? It's something always internal. Right? I try to go step by step, because the journey of 1,000 miles. I wouldn't even want to use that. Let me use to get to you don't have to see the end of the staircase, right? You just have to see the first step, right? But
exactly.
You need to be able to take that step and try and make it compound. Just keep going and going and going, and eventually you get there, right? So I'm more into the whole cloud architecting right now, and cloud, and because like I said earlier, if you remember, I said something about you need to know where the world is going to, right? You need to be able to position yourself properly. So cloud is really interesting, and if people would love, I would also recommend checking that out. The 3 categories I mentioned: cloud, data, and AI. Right. So whatever you're doing in IT right now, in tech, try as much as possible to position yourself, and read magazines like Gartner, Gartner and CIO.com. So those stuff, they really have great editorials that will let you know how to position yourself. So it's going to be an interesting journey, and I'm still taking my first, second, third, fourth step.
That's good. That's good. And thank you for sharing that. That's your view and how you're looking at things. So, do you have some guys that are coming to you for help, like in terms of, I want to work online? When somebody tells you that when they ask you to help them or mentor them, what normally runs into your mind? What's the questions that you normally ask yourself or try to ask the person?
Okay. Well, they need to be able to have the zeal, the dedication, right? I'm going to ask, are you really serious enough to go into it? Might work for
the guy is serious now. The guy is serious, and they've already come to you. They are serious. Yeah, why are you asking them if they are really serious?
Yeah, because you need to. Some people, they might come to you and they need certain help with you, but when you start to help them, you are now wasting your time. Sorry to say, you need to, because they might want you to do the heavy lifting for them. They might not want to do the mundane thing that are needed for you to propel them, right? So a lot of people that came from mentorship and all of this stuff, you realize that a chunk of them are not really serious. They just want you to go from point A to point B for them, point A to point Z, right? Yeah. They don't want to go into B, C, D, and all that, and they don't want to know. So they see you doing certain things, but they didn't know how you got there, right? So you know that you have to do the mundane stuff and all of those stuff, right? So it's really important for you to ask them, like, are you serious? Do you really want to? Are you ready to put in the work? Right. Yeah. Because, you realize that I get a couple of people that came to meet me, they really want me to help them out and, tell them what to do and all of those stuff. But when you ask them, what have you done? They've not done anything. Like they've not even at the background, they might have the skill set, but they've not actually even maybe created a profile. On the platform. They might, if ask them to create a profile, might say, create it for me. It's and to the extent that when you even do all of those stuff for them and maybe created a profile or just position them properly and all of those stuff, because they didn't put in the work in the first instance, they might just realize that a month or 2 months down the line they give up because they don't have anything to lose. Everything, all the heavy lifting was done for them. So first, they really need to be serious. They really need to be dedicated, and to be able to do that, they really need to be someone, a go-getter, right? Someone that is dedicated enough to go for what they want to, go. They want
All
to
right.
go.
Yeah, yeah. So the expectations there, sometimes they just have this initial excitement because they know Mofaz is working online and it looks cool. They don't know that Mofaz did not start like that. He was in his cubicle or in his room. He has worked very hard, countless hours to get where he wants to be. So it's not just about the skills, but there are other things that you need to understand. You need to know how to maintain clients. You need to know how to communicate properly. You need to know,
Exactly.
You have these nuances. Sometimes it's very difficult for somebody to just help you out. You have to help yourself first. I think that's the point, Mofaz, you're trying to make. Like, somebody has to help themselves. You have to move yourself from point A, point B, point C, and then you can ask somebody, say, okay, well, let me ask for help, like a mentor. Then the mentor will ask you, how far have you come? Then you say, oh, I've been maybe watching African Notes podcast. I've seen a different seasoned freelancers who are doing different things, and I've been improving my skills, or maybe I've been following some tutorials on African Notes Plus. So I've learned a couple of things. I've created my account on Upwork. I've done X, Y, and Z, but I've not been able to get a job. So can you please maybe coach me a little bit so that I know what I need to do to get my first job or something like that? It will be easier for you, for someone to help that kind of person than somebody who says, I want to be a freelancer. I want to go work online, and then probably ask you, do you have a laptop? You said no. Do you have internet? No. Have you created an account online? You said no. So how do you want me to help you? See, so those are two different scenarios, right? So I totally understand what you're saying. So again, one of the things that you mentioned is about being consistent, being persistent when you start. Sometimes I've seen people that are very I don't know whether you've faced that same experience. I've seen people that started with that zeal, that zest, and then as they began the journey, and then they just fall back. You don't know what's wrong. Why are you not doing what you are doing? Have you faced that kind of experience?
Yeah, it's quite interesting that I see people. Yeah, I have experienced people having that sort of experience where they just give up, and generally it's unfortunate because maybe it might just be the last step or one more step that they need to get to where they want to go, but eventually just that is it. It's not for me or something. But at the end of the day, everyone needs to understand that you need to really put in the work. You need to really have a strong mindset to be able to just, as long as you are doing the right thing, you're on the right boat. Just maybe a little more. You might a little more. You might. Okay. So that is what again I mentioned earlier. I mentioned as long as we're on the right boat, right? Mm-hmm. You need to get a coach, because when you're on the wrong boat and you're just working really hard and you are going towards a different direction, right? It's really bad when you find out that, okay, the reason why this is not working is because I'm on the wrong boat, right? Mm-hmm. So you need to be able to know that you're on the right boat, and as long as you know that you're on the right boat and you're doing what you're doing, right? And just a little more before you know it, you are going to be able to go to the next step or the next stage, right? And you break through, I believe. Yeah. So it compounds, basically. It compounds just a little more, and before you know it, everything works out.
Yeah. So guys, there you have it. Like, this is another amazing insight into becoming either a freelancer, an entrepreneur online. You want to establish your business. You need to learn from people, from mentorship. You need to be persistent. You need to move yourself stage by stage. It's not magic. It's not like any sort of like one click something. You have to work. You have to put in the work and get where you want to get. So now, Mofaz, I'm going to ask you trivial questions. All right, they are interesting questions, but so you can answer as quickly as you can. All right. Firstly, I want you to tell us about your hobbies. What do you do for fun and the amazing things that you've been doing? And I know you've been traveling, just so you know. Yeah. So tell us about it.
I enjoy hiking. I enjoy hiking a lot. And I've done it a couple of times. I enjoy sitting and just watching football. Right.
And who is the GOAT between Messi and Ronaldo?
Initially, I try to not even go into that debate and all of this stuff, because there are a lot of passionate people that really want to even listen to reason. But if I am to follow the truth, well, there are always the truth, right? I'll say it's Messi, but honestly, because I'm a United fan, I am compelled to go with Ronaldo.
Okay, that's interesting.
Obligated, right?
Okay, so where was your last destination for your vacation? I think you went on vacation.
Yeah, well, last destination, let's see. Interesting. There are not lots of countries though, but actually, the last place I went to was in the I think it was Saudi. Yeah.
Okay.
It was
all right.
Okay. Yeah.
Saudi Arabia. All right. That's amazing. So what was your experience in that place? Like, how was it? Like,
yeah, pretty cool. Lot of history in Riyadh, in Jeddah, in Taif. Like, you have a lot of history, even in Makkah and Medina. The holy ground cities also, they have a lot of histories there, and it's quite interesting. Honestly, I really, when you go to countries, new countries that maybe you haven't been there before, just try as much as possible to experience the culture, the way people are living there, the way people act, the way people do certain things, you just enjoy it. Don't go and keep yourself in a hotel, in a luxurious hotel, and chill out and waste your body here, right? Just go and meet the locals, talk and chill, and have fun.
And do you feel that freelancing has helped you to actually do all of these things and at the same time working?
Yeah, that is the interesting part about it, right? You might not. Honestly, I don't really enjoy sometimes going, turning on my availability and say, oh, you know what, I'm available. But when I'm holidaying somewhere, right? When I'm, but you need to do it because it's a commitment. But the truth of the matter is that you need to. It's been really you'll be able to work with flexibility and on your own schedule. Just know when to turn on that you're available and when to turn off you're not available. Have meetings. You just tend to go to different places. You're not tied to one location where you need to go sleep properly the night before, the next morning, and all of those stuff. You just enjoy yourself. Different time zones, no constraints. Just make sure that you're able to deliver. Don't over enjoy yourself or don't and forget that you have something to deliver. But yeah, it's flexible. The flexibility is fun.
Yeah, it is. Thank you so much, Mofaz. I'm really excited, and I believe the audience will be also super excited that you came to the show today. And we want to appreciate you. Maybe some other time we're going to invite you because we know this is going to be exciting. All right.
Yeah,
we wish you all the best in your consultancy, online consultancy, and let's keep the fire burning because we really want a lot of Africans to get into this space because we know we have huge unemployment issues in Africa, and we need to get more people to learn about how to work online and become an entrepreneur online and be able to establish themselves, and help their families, because I guess that's the goal there, right? So I really appreciate your contribution because I think this is also a way for you to contribute to the society as a whole. And for you guys out there that are watching me and that have watched Mofaz, the story of Mofaz and so on, if you enjoy this content, please subscribe to the channel hit the notification bell, so whenever we drop an episode, you are right there to be the first to be notified. Thank you so much, and see you on the next one.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate you having me here.